Okay, second day of our trip. Today we are going to Death Valley National Park, and in Death Valley National Park we're going to have a great talk. That's our plan. As I said in previous session, we stayed at Ridgecrest. There was a motel there. There were a few different motels. I picked a little bit more expensive one. The cheapest one I could find on Booking.com with taxes was around like $65-$70. But that had like bad reviews. It was a Motel 6.0 rated. And then the other one that I actually stayed was a Days Inn. And that one was very well rated, 8.2, but that was what more expensive. It was like $92. Normally I don't mind like staying at like 6 points on Booking.com hotels. I've done it many times before. But yesterday I was pretty tired because I also worked as at my last employment day. And because of that, I just wanted to rest like in a nice place for some time. And the Daisy also had breakfast. And I like that option. Breakfast that is available, like fresh eggs, cereal, all that stuff. And so I stayed at the Daisy. It was one of the best motel in these kind of like town that I've stayed. It was extremely clean, extremely well organized. The reception person was very nice. She was from India. A lot of like these motels are actually owned by Indians. That's something that I've noticed across the time of my travels in US. Not necessary to say all of them, but like definitely there's a significant portion of Indian ownership in in these kind of motel situations. And so she was very nice. She asked me if I know, like she taught me some Gujarati words. It's my ex-girlfriend is from India. We talked about that. She was from Mumbai. It was nice. I slept. I recharged. Tried to figure out like how to deal with my battery situations and charge all my devices. I charged my laptop. I charged my like power bank. I didn't charge my GoPro actually because I don't have that many cables over the night. And but what I'll be doing is I'll use my laptop to charge my GoPro. That's what I'm doing right now while I'm recording this. And now onward we go to Death Valley National Park. From here it's gonna take an hour and a half or 2 hours. Depends on like I don't know exact entrance where it is, but I'm trying to go towards Furnace Creek Visitor Center. And I think we'll see like Mesquite flat dunes, like a sandy dune area. Before that, I haven't done a lot of research. I just checked like a couple of general highlights that I should visit in the area, and we'll just see how it goes in this kind of road trip setting where I will be visiting one national park after another. I try not to do too much planning and like put myself into a lot of restrictions because this is a long trip. Timelines can change, days can change, how much time I have in a national park can change. And because of that, I just try to keep it very low key. The day that I visit the national park, I typically go to the visitor center, ask the rangers, hey, here's the amount of time I have, maybe like 4 hours, maybe 6 hours, 8 hours. And I'm willing to drive a lot. I'm willing to hike maybe 2-3 hours at most. Depends on the day, how much I'm feeling. Like, do you have any suggestions? Do you have any recommendations? What do you think would be the best day trip for me? And then we do. I follow their advice. I go a lot of like the sightseeing, do some of the suggested hikes that are not over, that are not too long. And I have a decently active body, so I can keep up with the pace of all this. But if it's a like different trip where I'm just going over the weekend to a single national park, and that those kind of trips are very different because then I organize it in a way that I plan the best. I want to maximize the most out of it. I want to do the best I can, even if it lose like 3, 4, 6 hours. That's a full different experience than what I do if I'm on a very long road trip. This one is not very long. This will probably take like 8, 9 days or 10 days at most. Because I have a deadline to be back before my next job starts in mid February, and because of that tight deadline, I'm going as fast as possible, but still trying to maximize the amount I see. And look at this view. This is beautiful, isn't it? We're in the deserts. California is very crazy. In California, you have deserts, ocean, beaches, mountains, lakes. You can ski, snowboard, a lot of beautiful forests, sequoia forest, redwood trees. It's just an amazing place to be. It's so big. It's such vast landscape with a crazy diverse geography. You have like mountain ranges going in the middle. Around them, like you have like the deserts, beaches, coastline. It's just a very, very beautiful place. And like when people imagine living in California, you imagine more of like the bigger cities around the coast and all that. Like the whole landscape in California is, as I said, very diverse. We have like a lot of these different towns, different cities that people live in, different styles of life, farmers, like truck drivers, all kinds of stuff, whatever you want. And that's also one of the reasons why, like, I mean, definitely economy, capitalism, whatever, but just this whole diverse landscape has made it like pretty accessible for a lot of different economies to thrive in California. Yeah, I'm so lucky and so privileged to be able to enjoy this beautiful beauty like this land. Uh, like literally yesterday night when we were driving, I said there were like some nice winding roads. That was through the Sequoia National Forest. That area was more rocks, mountains, beautiful trees. And now look at this. Just 2 hours later, we're in the middle of the desert. Just dropped. Amazing. And before that, before the forest, we were just on the beach. I live pretty close to beach areas. I live in San Francisco, and I'm learning surfing this year. I go to Pacifica Beach to surf over the weekends. Some of the weekends, not every weekend, because the surfing is, as a beginner, like it takes a lot of effort and time. Like you have to spend all your day surfing, almost like even a half day trip is means like all day because you get very tired. You have to go bring the board. Even if you're renting, you have to like put on your wetsuit. The water is not as warm in Northern California and Bay Area. Lots of preparation and lots of effort. Actually, like I've done quite a few different sports. I do snowboarding. I did a little bit skateboarding when I was younger. I did taekwondo, kickboxing, Muay Thai, and then basketball. I played a lot, like all these different sports. But like surfing, I feel has been the most challenging for me. Maybe it's because I'm trying to pick it up as an adult. Maybe that's one of the reasons. But also at the same time, in surfing, there's this thing that you're always against the nature itself. The waves are coming and they're always coming, and you just have to understand them. You just have to watch them. You just have to monitor them. You just have to know how to be friends with them. Have to understand. You respect that, like, you are not in control. Nature is in control, and you follow. And as a beginner, that is very difficult because as a beginner, you're like excited. You want to do things. You want to be able to like actually get on your board, but you have to know how when the wave is gonna come, like time it. You also have to, even before getting the wave, like sometimes like trying to cross through the beach to get the wave. in an area where the waves are like coming up higher, the level that you want, it takes time because you have like these waves coming in sets, and from the beach when you start from the shore, you have to like go through with your surfboard, and then as each wave that's coming is throwing you back to the beach, and now you have to like still progress, make progress like step by step after each wave in the sets, but it's not easy. You wait for the sets to finally calm down, have an opening moment, and that's it. And when the opening comes, you just have to go for it. You cannot wait because that's your only opening. You don't know when it's gonna come. It might come in 20 minutes, it might come in 30 minutes. Yeah, it's a very very tiring sport, and you have to be very physically fit. Like in order to paddle well, get on your board, it takes time. I love it. I've done 7, 8 sessions this year in 2025. That one of the goals this year was for me to learn surfing. I feel like I'm definitely a very beginner still. I have a lot to learn, but I'm at the point where like look, I can just go to the beach by myself and like practice, get better. So, and it's fun. It's fun. I really like it. You just gotta be dedicated. So, but imagine that like I can just like go 30 minutes, like 20 minutes from my place, bring my surfboard on top of my car, just go send it, enjoy my time. And then you come to these like national parks. There's so many national parks in California. I've been to most of them. Um, there are, I think like three I didn't go yet. One is the Stacked Valley National Park. Other one is there's one closer to the Oregon border. I think Redwood National Park. I haven't been to that area yet. There's gonna be another road trip that I plan to. Hopefully, if I have time, like go from California to all the way to Seattle, maybe even Vancouver, um, and that road trip. And I'm planning to do that. There's a park there, and then Channel Islands. Channel Islands is a little more difficult because you have to arrange the ferry time, and you have to take the ferry. Like you cannot just drive down there, so it's not as easily accessible. You have to plan it a little bit, and I'm able to do that. But we'll get to those national parks. Like yeah, as you see, it's beautiful, beautiful landscape. I'm pretty hyped. And going back to what we were talking, I want to tell you about like my eighth grade. In eighth grade, we had these friends group, and there was a lot of banter, a lot of fun, a lot of jokes being made. I don't remember how many people there were, maybe like 6, 7 people, girls and boys mix. It was had a very lively group, and it was, even though the school made us study very hard and all the like stressful national exam was taking place, and this was the last year before high school. We still had a great time with all these friends. And during the breaks, we would all hang out together, and that was the time when, like 9 gags, memes, like those were starting to become a thing. Like that stuff was happening. Yet on the internet, you would go and find all these memes and like put about pics. Twitter wasn't as popular back then, so memes were not on Twitter. Memes, maybe they were on, but like memes were mostly coming from like these 4chan, like gag sites. And, like every day we would just monitor the like 9gag. Try to I keep hating this. I have to fix this camera stuff, but we'll get there eventually. And we used to read these and like make a lot of jokes to each other. There was some love stories. One of my friends really liked this girl, like my best friend. And yeah, that dude, man, he was very very cool guy, very eclectic guy. He did a lot of research. He knew a lot of stuff. He was very thoughtful. And this guy really liked this girl. And apparently the girl liked him back as well. He started dating. And I was a big supporter of that. I tried to help him out, be a big man. one time, like we went to the shopping mall, two girls, two guys, um, him and the girl that he likes, and me and another girl. And the other girl and me we were just friends, like nothing special, but we helped them out, get familiar with each other in the sense of being in a more romantic like event. They started dating, didn't work out. He got what he said. Some drama happened. This boy, man, he was sad that later on. Turns out I fucked it up. So my fault. He broke up with me. She broke up with me because I fucked it up. I wasn't good enough, whatever. I don't remember all the reasons. And if you ask him, he lives in Austria. He's studying history there. If you ask him, well, what were you thinking back then? He'll say, oh, damn, I was so stupid. I wouldn't think of the same thing. But yeah, even a little later in high school, he like let go. He got a tattoo for her. And the guy, I don't know, like there's this song, Bruno Mars's song, where it's called like, We're Talking to Him, and this guy is talking to them all that he's sharing his love and sadness and all that stuff, so now, the typical things. Yeah, the typical things is sharing. And he really liked that song because he felt like it had his situation with this girl. So he got that tattoo on his arm. I think it was in high school. I don't think it was in 8th grade when he got the tattoo, because if he got the tattoo in 8th grade, like that would have been like crazy. People would have been like, "What the fuck, dude?" Because the girl was in the same school, but in high school they were different schools. So I think that's what we got. Anyways, I really like that guy. He had other people in the crew, but definitely in my 8th grade, that guy was one of the people. Left them working quite great. Then there were some other friends. There was another girl. She was very good at singing and like music. She listened to like heavy metal, hard rock. She knew her stuff well. Like we used to hang out a lot. Yeah, I found her cool, and she is cool. She's in Canada these days. I think Toronto, because there is a time I was about to almost go to Canada because of visa situation in US, and I was gonna, reach out to her, hang out with her, like rekindle old friendships, stuff like that. But yeah, this girl was very cool. And she's in Canada. She was part of our friend group, and I had other friends from my middle school days that I was very close with. That was also part of this group. Lots of people. Yeah, I also kind of feel bad that I'm starting to describe a few people, but there have been other people in these friendships and these communities that I'm not as much sharing. I don't want them to feel bad. I love you all. Everyone in those groups have been very important for me. It's just more. There's more, the characters are more like the kind of unusual, unorthodox people that you remember their stories more. So I think that's because of that. Like I've been describing like these two individual fellows. But yeah, like that was 8th grade was a really good time. I really liked it, and as I said, I did well in middle school and got into a really good high school, public high school, and they were like teaching German. So I started high school, and after high school, everything was very in a very very like I really like my life in middle school, 8th grade, and all that stuff. But yeah, there is not girls in my life as much as I have other people have. It's very sad. But in high school, it was a different. Maybe the first couple of years was similar, but then somehow I got lucky. I figured my way out how to make girls like me, and actually, spend time, you could do some kisses and all that stuff. And yeah, let's tell the story of one of them. I know I'm jumping from things to things, but this is how it goes, man. When you're driving on the middle of the desert, when there's not much other than nature, you're talking to yourself in a car, you just change from one topic to another. As I said, yeah, it's interesting. It was easier if somebody was there to focus me. I'm enjoying my coffee. Um, yeah, I got one of those cold coffees from Starbucks, nitro cold brew, sweet caramel. I like this one because it's not crazy sweet. Like, it has like still good amount of like liquid level and caffeine. I like it. Oh, sun is coming out. Yeah, hell yeah, baby. This is the desert to me. I didn't take out my sunglasses because earlier in which was the sun was not out there. We have the clouds. You can see it, but maybe you're not able to see that the sun is coming from the corner of the clouds. Like, it's full of big, but yeah. But yeah, so here's the story. My first, actually, like, very sexual kiss with someone. Remember the girl I told you in like fifth grade that I dated a little bit and we didn't know what it was like, so we called it off because she understood that I liked somebody else. Now the story goes that I don't remember how, but like somehow we kind of reconnected with that person, and she was going to a different high school, and in Turkey, these like really good high schools, they organize these like festivals, music events, and singers like come to the schools that they perform, and they had this festival in her school towards the end of the year. Typically, these things happen in spring, maybe like April, May, because it's warmer out there at that time and people are more vibrant, like springtime, summer is coming, school doesn't end, celebrations. And we connected with that girl somehow. I don't remember all the details. And then there was a thing. I wanted to go to this festival with her somehow, or was it another girl? And I wanted to go. Oh, yeah, hell, man, this is so long. It's like so very long. I actually don't remember. I don't know what. But somehow we talked with this girl. She was, young gypsy. I was young gypsy because in Turkey they say young people, like when you're like 14, like even 14, 15, you could like get breaks easily, buy from like a store, or like go to bars. Sometimes they will let you, sometimes they will let you. Just have to try, I don't know why it was like that. It's kind of crazy now thinking that when you like in the States, you have to be like 22 years old. But in Turkey, like it started kind of early, which was bad. Like legally, it's supposed to be 18, but we couldn't get around with shit, which I don't think is great. I think there has to be a certain age limit that people should start doing these kind of things. When you do it too early, you can build like addictions and like habits that don't go away easily, and people don't realize it costs years. They just build it because they started very young, similar to me. Yeah, but I was tipsy, she was tipsy a little bit, and then at the festival, we somehow talked back, and kind of she said, "I like you," or "I find you cute," or something like that, and I was like, "Okay, well, I guess this is it. This is the time, I heard all from all these other high school, like older classmen or all these kind of festivals at the time. Just like go ahead and kiss a girl and have a great time. I was like, let's do it. Let's send it. Yeah, throughout the whole festival, we were together. It was a great time. But then we kept communicating and we said, okay, let's go out, let's do this, let's make things happen. And we went out for maybe like 5 months, something like that. But eventually something was off. Like it was as if like there was not as much desire as commitment. We, I think, got bored because it's also like the first proper real high school relationship. Now you can actually like go out with people and do things. You have more freedom from your parents, and you want to understand like how to spend time with. And in Istanbul, I lived in the Asian side. In the Asian side, there's this neighborhood called Kadıköy. She went to school there. It's a beautiful neighborhood. I love hanging out there. We would hang out after school with our over the weekends in those neighborhoods. We go grab food, watch a movie, with lots of kisses, things like that. But somehow it didn't work out, which was okay because I was very fully into her. But she was nice, pretty, you know. And for me, it was exciting, but you don't have nothing special. Maybe we kind of, as a young person, you kind of expect like something like this real love that you like, unconditional love. You're just gonna keep loving, write poems for that. I mean, that has been the general TV series, movies that display you as you're a kid. That's what you think you like about men. You believe in all these like extreme love things where your heart has to be all the time fulfilled as if like there's nothing else. I think, which is not the case as you grow older. You realize there are many other aspects of life, just love. You cannot just fully be engulfed with flames in your love in your heart. But eventually, down the line, yeah, we broke up. So that was my first girlfriend, Indonesian girlfriend. And during high school, I kept in touch with her from time to time. Just when you go to these like nice good schools in Turkey, after the national exam, like it's kind of like there's a like elite crowd. It's kind of imagine it like a U.S. Ivy League frame, you know the people from other schools, like in similar circles, similar way of doing things all together. And so I would see her from there, and because I used to hang out in the neighborhood where her school is, I would see her sometimes, but more as a friendly. And she was also close friends, like best friends in high school, with the girl I used to love in 6th grade. So I had dated her initially in 5th grade, but the girl I dated back in grade school, but her best friend, we all went to the same middle school. Like, in 6th grade, I really loved that girl, and I cried for her a lot. But yeah, she was friends with her, and that was also a little bit problematic because she knew that I really loved that girl, and even back in the day, I was still communicating that I still had some interesting feelings for the other girl. I don't know, maybe that was the reason I didn't let it go off. Maybe she knew all these things when they thought that the best friends, and just like she did I planned them. I don't know. I wasn't doing anything bad. I wasn't doing any cheating that we were dating, but yeah. But that other girl was there too. I was in touch from time to time with both of them. Sometimes friendly, and sometimes a little bit one of the flirtatious. Yeah, good old days, man. I will tell many good old days as my future kids. Learn, understand what kind of a person that one's I really think telling me is it's interesting to see how life unfolds in many different ways across the years. And for me, I don't know, when I think about past, there are some things that I remember very vividly, but there are some things, like it's kind of these things that are fluid around, like you remember the general things, but like some of the surrounding details around that it's not out there. It's as if like it's like nothing they focus in, you just will remember it. But maybe I feel that a lot with a lot of the new things. Maybe it's because your mind has a specific mechanism in what it can store. It, as you go over in some things, you kind of erase, but whereas March, those connections will not happen. Maybe that's why, or maybe I drank a lot in my college and high school and early adult life, and I fucked up all my brain cells to remember things. That could also be the reason. Or I did a lot of weed and like I don't know marijuana, and I fucked up things. Maybe I don't know. I have no idea. Like these days, I don't do them as much. I'm a much better person in terms of controlling my addictions than being more in charge of control. But yeah, this is food for thought, and you're heading to the non-emotional part. I'm gonna turn off the video for some time so that I relax a little bit because talking I really like this, and I realize it's also intense that makes my brain always be on top since related. And this trip is supposed to be here, some relaxation, some calm. Should be done changing jobs. Then I also broke up with my girlfriend a couple of weeks ago. Just, digesting everything, understanding, reflecting on my life. So because of that, I'm just gonna pause for now. I'll be back again, and maybe I'll listen to some music, watch the TV, or reflections. It's early in the morning. I don't have as much energy. It's 8 a.m. Even though it looks very dark, it's just 8 a.m. right now. But we'll be back for this new. Hi friends, I want to show you a rain on desert. As you can see, even sometimes it rains on the desert. It's interesting there. Miles and miles and miles of nothingness. The last city town was Ridgecrest, and probably like at least like 40 miles, 50 miles there isn't in any other town, any gas station, which is like desert roads. Maybe only a few cars that we've seen. But I'm getting excited. It's reaching closer to the national park. I like this one so far because it feels so motivating to come here. I know that the other way around, the Desolation part of the Nevada side is not the same because it's more accessible where like the hills. But coming from the California side, oh man, it's so good. I had some food supplies with me, but I was wondering what would I not my car broke down. There's no cell phone service. Do I know what happens? Do I just have to be like this so when it's going to pass through came there I'll be up. Yeah, but as an explorer, as an adventurer, you have to be prepared for these bad days as much as possible, but still be optimistic. The positive and everything is working. The down. Otherwise, you just get afraid and like be scared of inside when you have maybe some. Right? It's the preparation is important. Today, I felt like I'm prepared a little bit but live in one, like in grade one, just in case you're in grade one or would like water supply. Then water supply is another thing I haven't done as much, so out bodies portable right. And just like extra work calls just in case emergency needs. Something not happens. You never know. But yeah, rain's over. It'll probably bring back again, but I'm gonna show you guys. Alright, see you next time.
Okay, here we are at that Valley National Park, Mesquite Flat Dunes, Sand Dunes area. I initially had said that I'm not gonna take a lot of videos during inside the national parks. I just want to do more from the car. Maybe I changed my mind. Let's see, because this is so pretty. Look at these sand dunes, and I believe Mesquite is these like green plants. You see, they have like long roots. They can find water even despite this desert landscape, the dune landscape. Yeah, that's what they're named after. So cool. Going up and down the dunes. You can hear me breathing because climbing up these dunes is no trivial task, as you can tell. Yeah, you see there's some people up there on those dunes. We're gonna go there. These are very pretty dunes. I've seen a lot of dunes in a lot of different places, especially in US. I went to college in Michigan, so I went to Sleeping Bear Dunes a few times. There's lots of dunes over there, up and down for miles, and you reach Lake Michigan at the end of the trail. It's a very beautiful dune hike. This one is a bit different. Doesn't seem like there's much of an end point, but it's just like in this flat plain area. Yeah, these dunes surrounded by the mountains. Still very nice, and as you can see, the colors of the dune is a little bit darker because we just had rain. So normally it's supposed to be a little bit lighter. You can see it's supposed to be like this color normally, but now that it rained a little bit, we have it a bit darker. Yeah, and we have these nice mountains in the backdrop. Apparently, like snakes called sidewinders live here, and especially summertime in the nights they come out. They said on the signs that watch out for sidewinders, especially if in the summertime you're out in the night walking. Yeah, really pretty out there. Up and down. I was also in Dubai recently, and we went to the desert there, and it's a different vibe, that desert than this one. That feels more like a proper legit desert, but this is still pretty nice. The color of that one was more light reddish, darker brown, whereas this is more lighter color. And there are a lot of dune areas in the US, which is very surprising to me. I didn't know they existed in the US before coming to US, but I've traversed a lot now, and I really like going up and down them. It's definitely not easy to climb up. Okay, we're gonna come up and then see a viewpoint, and I'm gonna end the video there. The reason I didn't want to film in the national parks as much was to just be able to enjoy it rather than filming it for other people. You know, just sometimes when you film things, when you capture moments, you forget about the reality and forget to enjoy it. That's what I didn't want to happen. But here we are. I guess I have lots of time, and I kind of like talking to you guys. It makes it more engaging and more fun, as if I have companions that are traveling with me. So But not to be cringe, when we go up the dune, I'm gonna be a little bit quieter so that people don't think I'm talking just to myself. Yeah, almost there. Damn, I'm out of breath, even though I'm an active person. So imagine for old people or inactive people. Oh wow, it's actually so cool. Now we're on top of the ridge. Look at this. Amazing. There are more people up there in those dunes. I'm not gonna go that far. I just wanna traverse on this top a little bit because I feel like I have a really nice view. And I'm gonna take a picture here. So we'll see you again in some of the next spots. Thanks for always listening in.
Welcome back, friends. I just visited the Furnace Creek Visitor Center. I talked to the park rangers, got some recommendations on different hikes that I can do and different places that I want to check out. They recommended 5 different places. One is Badwater Basin, Zabriskie Point, Dante's View, Artist View, and also the sand dunes. So we've already been to the sand dunes. So we're gonna check out the 4 other. First off, I want to start from the Badwater Basin, and that's the lowest point in the U.S. It's 230 feet or something below the sea level, and apparently people were pretty surprised when they learned that this place, that's the desert in the middle of the valley around like these mountains so far from like ocean, is actually below the sea level. But the first person who thought, oh, this could actually be below the sea level, pointed it out to their friends. Nobody believed it. So we're gonna go to Badwater Basin. I also asked about like some of the hikes. The like most famous hike is the Golden Canyon around the Zabriskie Point area, but that takes like at least half a day. So, but I won't be doing that, given that I'm only here for a day. But there's a smaller loop of that called Badlands Loop, again around the same area. I will probably do that. That should take me maybe an hour and a half, at most 2. And there's another hike. There are 2 other hikes they recommended: the Mosaic Canyon and the Desolation Canyon. I'm thinking of doing the Desolation Canyon. It was behind us, like on the left side. The reason is that it has like less elevation than Mosaic Canyon. Both of these are around like 3.6 to 4 miles. So I should be able to do them in an hour and a half or 2 again. Sometimes I rush in these kind of national parks when I'm hiking to be able to like see other places. Today I don't want to rush as much as possible, but at the same time I know if I'm gonna do 2 hikes, I might have to rush at some point. So I just need to get into the mindset of the hikes, because I didn't know there would be decent hikes. As I said, I didn't do a lot of research, and given that I drove a lot yesterday, I'm kind of tired. But we'll do the hikes. We'll have a great time. It's just the mindset, right? You're just gonna shift your mindset to be saying, "Hey, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make it happen. Doesn't matter if I'm tired. Doesn't matter if I don't have energy. I'll make it through." Given that we are in winter and temperatures are around like 70 Fahrenheit, it shouldn't be too bad. In the summer, this place gets like very, very hot. It's actually the highest temperature ever measured in the world was here in that valley. And there was apparently in another place in Libya, in some desert area, they recorded a higher temperature, but that had been discredited. Not sure the reason why. I just learned all these like from the Visitor Center Museum. But because of that, this is once and at the time of the recorded recorded history that had this place in the world. That's nuts, right? It's very interesting. Like for miles and miles and miles and miles, there's nothing. Like no civilization, very little town, very little campgrounds. People just thought, wow, like they didn't. Even the explorers who came back in the days, they had difficulty exploring these areas. Very interesting story. I didn't know this was such a cool national park. I've heard of his name before, but it's not as big as Yosemite or the ones in where is it, the Wyoming ones. I forgot it. Yeah, Yellowstone. Like it's not as popular as those ones. It's still popular with like as those places, but it's actually pretty cool. And apparently in 1994 it became an actual park. I like history. I like learning about things. I like information. Just learning is pretty cool, I feel. That's why I'm sharing the things that I learned today as well. On the left side, we see the artist drive. I'm not sure if you can see it. There you go. Like let's turn it a little bit. If you see like, on the left side, that's the artist drive area, and we'll come there. Like we haven't arrived. But apparently some water made those differences in the colors. One that you see like these, the green, the yellow, a little bit brown. It's very, very beautiful color changes. That's why it's called artist drive. Then when we go, you actually see some green on the desert. Pretty cool out there. We'll be driving to Badwater Basin. And I'll try to tell maybe some other stories of my life. I think we came to high school. I'll describe the high school environment a little bit. So my high school was 5 years. Normally in Turkey you do 4 years of high school, but I did an extra year because in my school we learned German, and all of our science classes are in German. The history, literature, we still have them in Turkish, but the other science classes were in German because of the curriculum. And for you to be able to actually do maths and science in German, first you need to learn the language, because many people know German, make your red language accent. So there's one extra year that you just learn German. It's like half of the classes are just about learning German. I think we had 40 hours of classes and 20 of them were German. It's pretty cool. Like back then, I thought that's kind of lame, kind of boring. Like why most of our classes is German. Now when I look back at it again, it's pretty cool. Like to learn the language and given the opportunity to know that for a whole year. It's amazing. And I wasn't the best at learning German language, but I did fine. I learned it. Like knew how to use it for math and sciences. I made through my school. My issue was that in high school, given that in the national exams before in middle school we worked really hard, I didn't want to work hard anymore. I just want to enjoy my time, right? I'm young. In high school, lots of new things happening. And also we had more freedom. The freedom because previously in middle school, my mom would drop me off like to school and pick me up from school. I didn't have as much freedom in terms of how outside of school I interact. But in high school, I used to go to high school myself. My mom would drop me to the ferry, and then I would take the ferry. I would walk up the hills to go to my high school with my other friends, and then do the same on the way coming back. And later, across the years, they also built an underground subway system that traverses between like the two continents of Istanbul, the Europe and the East, like Asian side of Istanbul. That normally we would take the ferry, but afterwards we would do that subway. Still, I did it myself and with my friends, and I had some flexibility in terms of like what time I could come back home. On our way back, if you want to make a stop in a nice neighborhood, just stop by, like drink some coffee or like get some food, or just chill, sit around, and have conversations with friends. We would just just chill. No need for any activity. Go sit on the streets, on stones, watch beautiful sea, have conversations, talk about life, what our parents are like, talk about the issues that we're facing, parents divorcing, girl problems, all these things. We had lots of time, and it was for ourselves. And my mom at that point, also in high school, wasn't going through a divorce with my dad, and my dad had left the house, and my mom was going through her own problems, and she wasn't very restrictive of me in terms of my freedom. So I had a lot of freedom, decided when to come to house, what I wanted to do. I had a very vibrant life, always hanging out with friends. And similarly, some of my friends also had that freedom. I don't know how they had it, but they just did. They were lucky to, similar to me, and they just had the best time of our lives then. But because of that, because of all that hanging out and all that stuff, I didn't want to go back home and just do homework and all that stuff. And even if I didn't do homework, I just learned the class. I could pass by. The exams weren't, they were a bit difficult, but not crazy bad. Like you could just manage it, right? Like you could. We didn't have A, B, C, D systems. Ours was like 0 to 100. You could get B's. You could get like 70, 80 that passes like without that much of studying. At least for me, that was the case. I'm guessing for most of the other kids at school as well, because they had already worked hard. They had some kind of understanding, intelligence to some level, analytical skills to be able to pass through. So, we just hang out, and I made a lot of great friendships. Great friendships. We would go to lots of bars on Friday nights with my friends, just sit there for hours, drink a few beers, converse, talk about what's happening in the world, some politics. I mean, it sounds stupid, right? What the fuck are these like 16-year-old kids talking about politics? They know nothing. They haven't earned money. They're just going to high school. What do I know? But no, it was a politically turbulent times in Turkey, because the last year, no, not the first year, I went to high school, and that when we were all learning that German, those German classes. Wow, look at this views. These views are actually very beautiful. When we were learning that year, at the end, towards the end of the year, there were riots happening in Turkey. Not riots, but like protests around the park called Gezi Park, and there was some story, but apparently most of it was like environmentalists wanted to protect the park that was going to be refurbished into a more urban structure with concrete and all that stuff. And they started camping there, protesting for days. But then somehow, like probably because like the governments, the back then the mayors was Erdogan, the president, or he was not mayor, my bad, but like he was prime minister back then. He made like some comments, and like things got stirred, and then it became a very anti-government protest onward, and people were marching all over, and a lot of people that I knew went to different good high schools. They would be in the areas where the protests were happening, so they joined as well. And even my school, like it was close enough, like 20-30 minutes with like some public transportation. So our older students, like the same years, the 11th, 12th graders, and in high school, they were going to these protests. So I only went once, like to see what it was like walking around the protests. But if I had known, and not known, but like if I had become mature like today I am, and knew my rights, knew what I'm capable of, I would be more protesting back then. But I felt like I was still too young. It was about the time when I was getting my freedom, trying to understand what I want to do, how I want to do. And for my mom, it was always like not safe enough like to attend these things, because at some point police came out, riot police, and they started spraying pepper gas, doing all those things, things got violent for a month or so. All these protests went long. It was a very crucial point of time in Turkey. And so that was pretty, that got us like politically involved throughout our whole high school. And as years progressed by, government was being a little bit more aggressive. And yeah, we always talked about politics because of that. The economy was doing fine, and they had improved the economy a lot compared to the early 2000s. I mean, I haven't seen the early 2000s myself because I was born in 1998. But when all these anti-freedom moments happen, government suppression to the protests and the police forces, like we felt sad, like because we felt like, oh, like these people are just, they just want to protest and they have this freedom of rights, and why are you not letting them? And I know and lots of things to talk about Turkish politics, but yeah, so we talked about politics because of that, because it was a turbulent time, and it's still a turbulent time in Turkey. And I'm sure nowadays that everybody has access to so much informational content on X, mainstream media, internet. Now everybody's always talking about politics nonstop, which is kind of sad sometimes. I mean, we want to make things better, we want to improve things, but unfortunately, we don't get as much opportunity to make those things happen. And it just, I don't know, it's difficult. It depresses you a lot. That's what I see in US these days. Yeah, again, jumping from one place to another. These vlogs are very interesting. But high school was great, man. I made so many great friends, and we are always still in touch, no matter how far we are. Some of us came to US like I did. Some of us went to US, Germany, other parts of the world, Austria. My ex-girlfriend. I'll talk more about that. We are reaching Badwater area. I'm gonna stop the recording and just hang out in the Badwater area, see what it is like. All right, bye.
Now we are at Badwater Basin, the lowest point in the United States. The things on the ground are actually salt, sodium chloride, table salt. I'm trying to be as quiet as possible to give dignity to the people who are traversing here to enjoy the nature. It's all salt. You can see it. Look. Salt. Good for cooking. Kind of looks like snow, but no, it's salt. And apparently the mountains in the back, they are 11,000 feet, the peak of it. It's pretty tall. And you can actually see some lines right on the mountainsides that hints what this basin level looked like before, because apparently through the fault lines, fault activity here, this basin gets lower and lower over time, but it doesn't feel as much from the other parts, so it goes below. And apparently in order for something like this to happen, where a place is very below like the sea level, there it has to have very little rain, because otherwise what's gonna happen is that rain is gonna pour over and like collect things on the basin, and the elevation is gonna increase. At least that's my understanding reading the national park signs. Hopefully I'm correct. If I'm not correct, let me know. I will do my best. Some of the things I'm telling you are more from like the national park sites, and I haven't done a lot of research on it. I'm just reading and trying to understand and share those findings with you. Wow, you actually get water, and this water is actually ancient water from old ice, snow, underground systems that still has like this water flowing through the underground passages. Apparently the water is limited here, but for it to survive in this balance, this is great, perfect ratio. It has enough for it to survive through these like ancient water systems. You can see how it looks like. Now we have more water. Wow. Lots of salt. Lots of salt. It's actually really cool. We're getting more wind here too. So cool. See? Ancient water flowing through. Really, really nice. Okay. We'll say goodbye again. Okay, now we're at Devil's Golf Course. My hair is flying. This is how it is. It's called Devil's Golf Course. You can see these are like minerals, salt, right? They have all these very interesting shapes. It's very, very cool. I've never seen something like this in my life. I've been to Bonneville Salt Flats, just the Badwater Basin that we saw. Also had these amazing minerals and flats, but this kind of structure I've never seen. This kind of reminds me of like some caves, you know, with like those stalactite kind of things. So cool. So cool. I love the naming of this, the Devil's Golf Course. Like some people are like walking all over. It's kind of like this for miles and miles and miles. I don't know how they're formed, but I'm guessing like from moving water, wind, erosion. We'll learn about it. Yeah. Pretty cool. And we are on the Artist Drive right now. They're like really colorful areas on the right side. Okay, push us. You'll see like some paint, some green. I'll share that with you. You can see all these colors. Not sure how much visible if I talk, but that was really cool. You have the more pinkish reddish color inside thing, and then like bluish. I didn't start the video on the whole drive. I started a little bit later. And this is the artist palette overview. Oh wow. Now like on the right side, you will get to see the beautiful views over there. We took the yes.
So nice. Yeah, I think we were supposed to pull over there, but I thought if it's like this tourist thing, there should have been bigger. Let's see how it goes. Maybe they'll be able to walk them. Okay, we're going to spot wild eggs. You see, it's kind of what I was looking for. That's one of the more famous parts of this park. Sorry for the camera hauling around. It's not fully sticking, and I want to make sure you guys get to see. I think that's watching. Oh yeah, as you get closer, you'll see it. Let's try to possibly East Coast. Okay, let's go like this. Constant. Look, lost the car. Keep the video on. Go out. Okay, first time from in to out. All right, let's see how this looks like. Good. I forgot my fanny pack inside the car, so I stopped recording and brought it back, came back. Now we're gonna go a little bit inside the artist's palette. You see like pretty interesting colors. Apparently these came from like volcanic eruptions a lot of years ago, and there are different minerals, but it's supposed to be no copper. The red and the green colors come from some elements that I forget their name because I didn't pay full attention to the sign of the National Park Service. But yeah, you can see minerals, red and green, regular colors all around. Oh wow, okay. Okay, dude, this guy looks like an alien. So green, so light glowing. Same here. Got more regular colors. Ooh, see the backdrop. The backdrop is really cool. This kind of reminds me of the Badlands Park in South Dakota, Badlands National Park. The terrain was a little bit similar to this. There it was a little bit more brittle. Here's a little bit more rocky-ish, but it reminds me of that. Oh wow, I wonder how much further back I can go. Don't want to disturb anything, but yeah. Oh, okay. But in Badlands in South Dakota, you don't get to see this much like color differences. It's more regular soil color, but it's Badlands. You see like those shapes, those markings, like empty carves. You get a lot of that there, and
that structure over there on the hillside, when you see like it's coming down with all these weird shapes, it's pretty similar to that as well. Wow, it's actually pretty nice. There's also a big wall of blockade here, natural blockade. It's pretty sick. Pretty sick. It didn't say that this is like it's a hike, so I'm not gonna go venture too much into it. I don't want to disturb the area. We'll do another hike in a bit. My GoPro battery is dying out again. I'll have to recharge it with my phone. Let's see how much footage we can get. Oh wow, like look, so nice. When I'm coming back, I'm gonna take a photo here. You can see this is me. My name is Batwan Akchai. I know you didn't hear my name that much, and I had been talking for hours and hours. Not sure why you're here if you're not my kid. If you're still enjoying this, I'm pretty happy. It's a weird experience for me, but I think I'm getting the hang of it, getting more comfortable talking to a camera, doing my things every day. I'll see by the end of this trip how it's gonna look at. Oh wow. Oh, look at all these colors. It's actually pretty cool. All my words are like pretty cool, gorgeous, beautiful, stunning. My vocabulary is kind of limited. I don't read that many books. I don't have exquisite vocabulary. I'll try to do my best, but pretty regular slang. You know, cool, dude, what's up, awesome. Oh, but this is seriously awesome. Yeah, you get to see all this. It's pretty cool. I think probably it would be much better if you came in the sunset or sunrise, but this is still pretty cool, even though it's a little bit cloudy right now. I like this. I'll see you at the next spot. Hi friends! We're at Desolation Canyon at the end of the hike. It's a one-way hike, and then you have to go back the way that you came. And if you follow this canyon down, that's where I came from. If you see the flat areas further distant, it's where you start walking from, and then you follow the canyon, and then you come all the way up here. I think you're not supposed to be on this area as much. I think the hike ends, but there were some like community signs I was trying to follow, and they let me here. It's a gorgeous view. Just being on top of this and feeling that you earned it because you scaled it. It wasn't crazy difficult, but it was still a little bit off the beaten path, not a very popular trail. So that made me happy. Yeah, like this view is amazing. Look at this. You have the Badwater Basin further down there. And this is the Death Valley National Park. Now we're gonna go around, like go back there, and then go do a loop, and then go to Zabriskie Point. It's part of the plan. This place is magical. And I came down this way. I'm scared if I'm gonna like slip a lot, so and with holding the GoPro it's a little bit difficult. So what I'll do is first I'll come down without the GoPro and the video recording. Once I'm down, when it's easier flat, I'll start recording back again. But yeah, it's a fun time. Okay, I came back down. I landslided a little bit and probably caused some erosion, which is not ideal, because if you see like, you see the soil here is like moving a lot. It's not like rocky. And off you go back to the regular paths. I'll show you how the community made the arrows and block the other paths because there's no like proper markers of this hike, so it's a little bit difficult to find the place. I think people who come here felt the same way, and they decided to put their own markers to prevent other people from getting lost. And I've only seen one couple that was doing this hike as with me. There was only one car at the trailhead, so definitely not a very popular one, given that there's not good signs on which path to take. I would only recommend for more intermediate hikers. As you see, this is like the arrow that some community members did, and you see like there's another path. That's why they did the arrow, so that you don't go to the wrong direction. Again, you see like other arrows, lots of arrows, and we have another one here. It says like don't go this way, go the other way. I did go around this, but then I had to go down again. It's a little bit weird. I think here probably if you just like go straight here, it ends. But some people didn't want to end it; they just wanted to go to the top view, so they put their markers. Yeah, if you're not an intermediate hiker, if you're a beginner or have difficulty climbing, scaling things, I would not recommend it. But this is how the regular flat areas looks like. It's not that bad. As you can see, you understand the path. This is the canyon. Now it's gonna be easier because we're gonna go downhill. Also, let me clean inside my shoes because I put, when I was like landsliding from the top, some soil got into my feet. Yeah, man. I mean, this is not a very scary thing to do right now for me. Like, it's very chill, like not a difficult one, strenuous one. But still, if my mom saw all this shit that I'm doing, she would be like, oh no, you're gonna get hurt, don't do this to yourself, why are you being so careless? You only come to this life once, you just have to make sure you're well and healthy, no injuries and all that stuff. Yeah, unfortunately, Mom, your kid is a little bit, likes to have adventure and injuries and all these things, so this is what it is. I come to this life once and I just gotta make the most out of it, and if it means sometimes I'll fail, I'll fail. Hope you understand that and support me throughout. And mostly you've been supportive, even though you don't like everything that I do. So I appreciate it, Mom. Thank you. Thank you for always being there for me, even though you might not agree with me all the time. That's what being a great parent is, and that's why I love you. Hope you understand this. If you ever watch this video, I really love you. Anyways, coming back from my mom's love, my love for my mom, back to the hike. Yeah, it was 1.8 kilometer one way, almost like 1.1 mile. Not bad. Just the terrain is interesting a bit, and paths are not very clear. For example, this is another one. More arrows to prevent you from going that way. As if you see, we have another blockade here. I think they should just try to, as a National Park Service, they should just like try to provide a few items. Like, definitely, it feels more bigger open space there. I would have definitely gone that way if these guys didn't block it, and that block community did a good job. But still, not many people would understand, right? So if you're getting this National Park Service, I know the sign says that there's no markers, but please add markers. It's a great hike. I think a lot of people would enjoy it more if you added it. And even the road to the turning point road intersection to come to this area didn't have like the best signs as well. They're like very small, and you couldn't tell unless you know that, like, oh, this is the place that I want to go, and for sure I know this is the place. You wouldn't be able to find them. So typically that has not been my experience with National Park Services. They mostly do a great job. I don't know why, whether it's related to the government shutdowns back in the day. It's been a couple months since then, but or if it's just a general Death Valley National Park thing, because this is actually the biggest land area-wise biggest national park in the lower 48, which is basically all the US states in the mainland US except Alaska and Hawaii, because they're not part of the mainland. So lower 48, then you have 49, Alaska, and then you have Hawaii 50, if I remember correctly. I've been to Alaska two years ago, and I think I learned there that it was the 49th. And last year I went to Hawaii with my mom. I'm pretty lucky, pretty privileged. I make good money from my job. I get to have unlimited PTO, and there were a couple different things that was happening, so I get to use a lot of my paid time off and enjoy the income that I earn as a software engineer. Very privileged, but I felt like I made use of it. I traveled a lot in different places, and travel is a bit interesting because travel is kind of good and bad, right? A lot of people is using like travel as like, oh, I love traveling. Of course, everybody fucking loves traveling. Who wouldn't like traveling? Traveling means mostly vacation. Everybody likes vacation. But then there are like other people who travel for like very different things. Not just for vacation, but more as a way to, I don't know, maybe entertain themselves. It's like, to some level, it's like a little bit consumerist, similar to watching a lot of movies or a lot of, you know, like brain rotting. This is also some kind of consumption. In a way, the tourism industry has provided you get to travel, but at least I feel like I try to do more natural tourism, and whenever I go to a place, I try to understand their history, the geography, geology, all these things that affect there. I try to do my best to actually learn from these places, get to understand how people live in different areas, and see the nature, understand what it means to be human and like occupying the same space as nature. So I don't know, sometimes I feel conflicted. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I travel too much and I consume a lot, I should produce more and build a community around myself. But at the same time, I think it's like it's helping me envision, like, have a better vision of life and what other things are out there and what's more to do than just a capitalistic Coke system. So I'm a little bit conflicted, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if I do something that other people would say you're privileged, or like you can do this because it's just consumerism. Yeah, so what if, like, even if it is, I just like doing it and it's not hurting anybody else, so I'll just do it. I do the things that I want to do in this life without hurting anybody else as much as possible. It's the general framework, right? That's how freedom works, and I feel that I have the rights to exercise that. Yeah, that's also kind of why I feel a little bit bad about posting on Instagram and things like that, because I do travel a lot, and like it's like a gorgeous life that I'm living, and I feel bad that other people see that and then feel, you know, they don't have the same opportunity, the same privilege, because I came from a really nice family that supported me all the way, to put a lot of their time and effort and money into me growing and like doing great things and like having a very good safety net and future in ahead. And not everybody gets to do that, but yeah, conflicting thoughts. But again, at the end of the day, I'm a human. I cannot save the world. I cannot be the best person out there. I cannot be perfect, and I just gotta do what I gotta do, which is to have fun, spend time with my family, friends, contribute in some way to people around me. I'm not gonna say like, oh, I contribute to society as a software engineer. A lot of people don't like tech and all that stuff. AI is coming to people's jobs and all that stuff, so there's also conflicted debates, but yeah, at the end of the day, I still feel like whatever I do, whatever I work on has an impact. whether it be big scale, small scale, very important, very not very important, but still makes me feel significant. And that's what I enjoy. Everybody would love to be significant in this life, you know. Everybody would love to know that they matter one way or another. So I guess this is me reflecting a lot on life, what I like to do, who I am, and those kind of things. Sometimes we go in spirals, but it is what it is. I hope you're enjoying this landscape, and this is my first time recording this kind of setup in a hike, and probably it's very shaky and you don't get to see all the beauty around, and I'm just holding with my one arm. So I look like a probably idiot from outside, but my goal is, whoever is watching this again, just enjoy. If it makes you happy, it makes you happy, and you get to see some part of my life, and this is how it is. And this is the cool part of this hike. So you'll have some ledge here. As you see, this one is pretty nice. It's very rocky, unlike the other one. So I'll just jump. I jumped. Yeah, this is like how big it was. I'm a tall guy. I'm like 6'2", so this is a 6 foot tall one, and then there's gonna be another one coming up that's 8 foot tall. Climbing these were more fun actually than jumping. And yeah, let's do this one. Woohoo! Cool. Long legs helps out with all this stuff. See, this part, I wasn't sure which path to take. I was kind of speeding through, and then I thought, should I take this one or that one? And I literally didn't see this. Did they make it after me, or was it always here? I just didn't pay attention. I don't know. I just, with fate, thought, okay, that looks cooler. Let's go that way. Even though this was more wide out. But yeah, we're like midway there of the hike. We're gonna, in maybe like another 5-10 minutes, probably 10 minutes, we're gonna come to a more open space, and that open space is gonna be pretty big and gonna bring us back to our car. But I think to preserve my battery, I'm gonna say goodbye for now. But this was the fun part, those climbs, and you've seen gorgeous views, and now this opens up. So bye. Really good vibes. Amazing vibes. Zabriskie Point. Okay, let's do this. So this is the start of one of the most popular hikes here, Golden Canyon Trail from Zabriskie Point. I'm not gonna do the Golden Canyon Trail because it takes half a day. I'll just do the Badlands Loop, which I should be able to do within an hour 15 minutes. You can see all these people up there. They're looking at from Zabriskie Point. That's where it is. It has like beautiful views of the Badlands down there. You see all the formations, and it's on the left side of this. It's more golden colored. It's apparently there used to be a borax mining company, late 80s, like late 1800s, and afterwards, for some reason, like mining was kind of dying in this area, and then they're like, oh shit, we set up all this stuff here, but we need to make money out of it. What should we do? Let's, instead of mining, then if it's not working out, let's make this a tourism place. So they built an inn close by for tourism, and that person, Zabriskie, who was the owner of that company, also pushed hard to make this a national monument to get the tourists coming to this area. Again, as every fucking single thing in the US, it all comes down to capitalism. It all comes down to money. It wasn't that, oh, I love this place, it's so beautiful. He's like, mining is kind of dying down, and let's do this. Interesting. Hi. Have a good day. Yeah, funny. Like, mining is dying down. Let's convert it to tourism. As always, US very capitalistic. Maybe the guy really like this place and the whole nature, so I don't want to be talking badly about him. And at the end of the day, his efforts worked out. This is a very touristy place now, and it's being protected well because it used to be a national monument, etc. park thingy, and then it became a national park later on. So maybe not for the great best reasons, but eventually it did work out for me. So I'm pretty happy for that. But interesting how all these things shape, right? Like the people who are in power in their communities, they change it, they shape it. That's what I want to be able to do. I don't want to be very powerful, but I want to be able to shape my community where I live. I just don't know where I will be living, but anywhere I live, even for short terms, that's what I want to do. Build a community around it. And look at these daffodils. They're really nice. Daffodils in the desert. Little greens in the desert. It's pretty diverse. Pretty cool. It's not a trail, so don't go there. Is this a trail? I'm not sure. Definitely much more popular than the other trail that I had. Let's see how this goes. The other one I was just by myself. Yeah, I don't like walking with a camera in my hand because I don't want people to feel that, oh, this guy is like, he's not enjoying the nature, he's just filming everything. But I shouldn't be thinking too much about what people think. I should do just what I do. And my goal is, I'm still enjoying the nature even though I'm filming this. I just opened it and talking to you guys. It's not much of a big deal. Very beautiful daffodils.
Hello.
Hi, have a good day. Very, very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. Normally, I say hi to all the people when I'm going on trails, but because I have the camera on, I'm not sure like if they want to be recorded or not. That's why I didn't know try to say hi. But I think I should just skip it and say hi. Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, trying my best. Trying to not think about external things and just do what I want to do. Very, very difficult. But I'm on it. That's what all of us should strive to do. Just fuck it, man. Just do the things. What people think shouldn't matter. It's a process. I used to think I did it much better than everybody else around me. That I just behaved like who I am and didn't care about other people's thoughts. But I realized as I got older, it became more difficult. The system had put me into certain boxes, and like it became very difficult to move outside of those boxes to know what I want to behave like, especially when you have like people that you care a lot. You think about what they will think of you. So you see, that one is very beautiful. It reminds me of like those dinosaurs that have like the big hump in the back. What does it say? It says this is not a trail. Okay, great. I guess it's not a trail. So, you know, it's not a trail. But yeah, especially if you have loved ones that you spend so much time with, you try to cater your life towards them as well. Because it's like partnership, right? Like this life together are belonging to you too. And you have to make a lot of decisions together. And you become a little bit more thinking about what would the other person say. Well, if I do this, if I do that, and then slowly over time you realize, okay, I'm not doing as much as I wanted to be doing. It's difficult having the balance because you have to do both, right? You can't just do everything that you want. Now the person also is trying to live with you, or the person is also trying to build a life with you. But how do you find the balance and the middle grounds? Right, I think that is the difficult part. Let's see, that's the Point Trailhead, Golden Canyon Trailhead. Okay, I think we are going correctly so far. Someone singing opera from all the way, and there's another camera there. Dude, people are doing lots of things in National Park. It's pretty vibrant out there. Let's see. Yeah, anyway, so how do you balance it out? How do you tell your partner or their loved ones or people in your life, your co-workers, hey, I want to do this other thing. Maybe that's not gonna be pleasant for you. I know that you might not like it, but this is very important for me and I want to make it happen. How do you say that? How do you have those conversations? So far, I found them very difficult to make. Oh, okay. This kind of looks like a bat. Is this a bat? I'm not sure. It doesn't say anything. Is this a bat? I don't want to be doing this all the way and realizing, oh, I went the wrong way, but it seems like this is more of the main road. They said do it counterclockwise, which is, I'm not doing counterclockwise right now, but still this felt more natural and you'll just follow. Yeah, sorry, I change subjects easily. I have to stay on this trail and figure out what has to happen. At the same time, I'm talking about my previous relationship issues and how to grow together as two individuals or more individuals together in your community. Like very basic examples, right? Your parents, you, your partners, your friends, your co-workers, a lot of the people that you are hanging out with. Yeah, I started thinking about these because as I said, I broke up with my girlfriend like 2-3 weeks ago, and one of the main reasons why we broke up is that I felt like, I don't know, I wanted to do other things in my life that she didn't want to do, and she wanted to do other things, and we just couldn't figure out like how do we meet in the middle. And she was trying to push it to her way, I was trying to push it to my way mutually, and We were hurting each other. Conversations weren't constructive. Just fights, lots of sadness, pain, misery. Even though we loved each other, even though we cared for each other, at some point it just became like so difficult to be who I am when I am with her. I'm sure she felt the same way. Was it just like natural tendencies? It just sometimes happens. You grow apart, you want to move in different paths in your life, and that's it, naturally happens. Or is it that like you could have done things better, you could have acted better, you could have communicated better, and things would have gone better? I feel for us it was both to some level. Some things was the second, some things was the first one. We could have done better, a great job, but I still don't know if we did everything right, if it's still gonna work out. Like, we had a lot of differences in terms of where we want to live. I wanted to live in US as much as possible, as long as administrations are letting me be here and they're not torturing people or anything like that, and there's still freedom in this country, because I felt the freedom was shrinking in my own country, Turkey. So I migrated here because of that, and I don't want it to be happening the same way. But as long as it's not happening, I'm happy to stay here because I really like this place. It's very multicultural. A lot of people are doing very interesting things, both professionally and personally. Lots of things to do here. It's a very big country. You can like go to different cities, different vibes, different industries. You can be who you are. Seriously, the American dream is the thing. Yeah, it's not as easy as it was before, but to some level it's still out there. And yeah, I want to change that. Whereas she felt more secure in where she was from and her family back there, and she wanted to spend more time with them and move closer. Didn't like the US, felt too much anti-immigrant sentiment, and that all the immigration policies were limiting her to become herself, which is true to some extent, and I do understand her. And similar to how I want to become myself, the true self of mine, I understand how she wants. It's cold now. Night is setting, the sun is setting, and this is the view that we have. This is Dante's view. It looks at the Badwater Basin area, and this area, in this valley, that valley there used to be a river flowing around this area thousands of years ago. And it's so gorgeous, like the sunset. It's so beautiful. I love it. I love spending some time here. Yeah, it was a great place to finish the day. You can go walk a lot over there. This is basically the area like this. This where there and where we are. Looking to this way. Earlier in the day, that area was where we saw like the Badwater. And now we're on top of it, across the Alpine mountains. And there's actually snow on top of that mountain. I'm pretty surprised. I didn't expect that. It's 11,000 feet up there. Not sure what the current elevation is, but definitely we're much lower than them at the moment. Yeah, as you can see, you can like start walking up there, go all the way down there. There are a few more hills, and we'll reach. Beautiful, gorgeous views. That is facing west, as you can see from the sunset. And on the east, this is the view that we have. This is the road it is a pretty steep road, so they don't let like very long vehicles to use this road. And in the previous recording, I was telling about like my relationship problems with my ex-girlfriend. I will come back to those again. The reason I stopped recording in the previous hike, as you can imagine, was that our battery for GoPro died. Fucking hell. I wasn't prepared for this battery issue because this is my first time using this GoPro Black 9, and it has been with me for more than a few years. But two of my best friends got it as a birthday gift for me probably 2 or 3 years ago, and I had the same battery since then, but I never used it, and this is the first time I'm actually using it. I don't know if it's always the batteries like this, or is it just an old battery? If I get a new one, will it have more energy to power videos? I don't know. We'll figure that out. But yeah, the sunset is very beautiful. I did some meditation, not like formal meditation, but just mind meditation, you know, calming down. Because also today has been intense with a lot of driving, a lot of hikes, a lot of sights to see. And sunset is the end of the day, so I wanted to take some time. And yeah, I appreciate you hanging out with me. And we're gonna get into the car. Let's see. Let's get in the car. Let's do this. Alright. Back to the car. It's my national park pass, as you can see. Some Coke Zero, some old coffee. We're back from my previous employer, the one that I left. And yeah, thanks for sticking by. So far, we did 600 miles in the past 24 hours. So pretty good. That's 1,000 kilometers. Alright, almost 1,000 kilometers. We'll catch up again.
Hi friends. Not sure if you can see the road. So put some things in the battery. Yeah. I was a bit better. Yeah, it's a little bit dark. Yeah, we're on the road. So we are maybe like 15 minutes an hour from Vegas. We're pretty close by to Vegas. We finished not Death Valley. Death Valley National Park. We left there. We meaning that I left there. I was still trying to say this has the you and me, but it's just I guess I left there around 6 p.m. and after the sunset we went down to SB Road. And then I drove for maybe like an hour and a half or so, or maybe 2 hours. Yeah, exactly. Actually, not 2 hours. I drove for only an hour. And came to Param, is it? Nevada. So we crossed the state line into California at the Model. And in Param, I had the best country fried chicken steak. Sorry, not chicken, country fried steak and eggs in my life. Like, it's a very staple American diner dish. I love that dish. Some places make it so heavy, the sauce, it's like so oily. It feels like disgusting sometimes, even though it's really delicious. But this place, they made it so well. It felt like clean, it felt healthy, and it was very delicious. And I love it. Like, it's the best that I've ever had it. Believe me, trust me, I've had this in many different places. And also 2 nights in a row, I had diners. So yesterday I had it at Denny's. It's a big chain in Paris. And today I had a Mom's Diner in Badwater, a really local place. I love the vibe. Definitely typical, road trip America diner. Lots of old school decorations. That's nice. One lady works in there. Like, He poured me a lot of coffee. I like that. I needed that. And now, then during my diner experience, I was trying to figure out what's my plan. Was this whole trip was like happening on one of them. I initially was going to Boston to visit some friends between changing jobs, but then I thought, oh, in the weekdays, I don't have anything to do, but these guys, they're just gonna be messy because they have work to do. Maybe I should do something more exciting and more interesting instead, where I can also use my weekdays for that stuff. And I love road trips. I love going to national parks. So I said, okay, let me actually see all the different national parks that I can visit. As of that is like close by-ish. Close by-ish meaning that in 10 days, what can I do? And I need to be back. Not this Sunday, but next Sunday. Today is Friday night. So by next Sunday, I definitely have to be back in looking for something because I'm starting with my work after the next day on Monday. And I need at least like a 1 day to recover the rest from this road trip. So there's some time question. My goal is to be able to visit a lot of different national parks. I knew right away like that I was going to that valley because in the vicinity of San Francisco, all the California national parks, the ones that I haven't been is Redwood. That's too far. If I was going to go from Seattle to that made sense, but otherwise no. But I want to do more of the Utah national parks, the three national parks together. The capital, Rice Canyon, Zion. I had not done those before, and I had done Arches, but not those two. And I wanted to target those. At least maybe two. Rice Canyon and Zion, maybe not Capitol Reef. I don't know. I don't know. For some reason, then it just I hear more people going to Rice Canyon or Zion, unless people are going to Capitol Reef. I'm assuming it's more of the, like in between these two, the lower pride popular one. But I still want to visit there, but let's see, depends on the timing. But in between, I wasn't sure if I should add Grand Canyon or not. Because I've been to Grand Canyon many years ago. Actually, the first time I came to US in 2015, I went to Grand Canyon with my family. Because we did the full West Coast trip. So it's typical LA, Las Vegas, Grand Canyon, that kind of typical road trip. We did that, and I've seen Grand Canyon. Obviously, back then, I didn't hike because I was in my town. But just like some the viewpoints in the sky observation, where there's like a glass and you're on top of the canyon, you see below the glass. The mountains were very frightening. But I did that, so I wasn't sure if I wanted to get lucky. Then I said, okay, we'll just figure it out depending on how I feel. Let's just first go to that valley, and then after that valley, I'll figure things out day by day. Because that was kind of what I did in 2020 when I did that road trip, leaving from Michigan and going all around the US, visiting 31 states in 30 days, going through a lot of visiting a lot of national parks. That's what I used to do. I would plan the next 2-3 days, maybe at most, like just major states that I want to visit, major sites that I want to visit in those states, and then I would build the rest according to them. So, given that I had already known that Zion and all that stuff is going to happen, and then the valley I thought in the middle we can figure it out Grand Canyon. So I checked Grand Canyon has like two areas, North Rim, South Rim. North Rim is not open during the winter because higher elevation, much more later usually, which is winter now. It's in February. I can only visit South Rim. And then when I looked at the South Rim, the best hikes, most famous ones, actually require like more than a day to be made because you are going from the rim to the river Colorado, the river, I believe it's Colorado, and it's very steep, and they do not recommend typically to do that in a single day. So this trip, because I'm on a time rush, I don't know if I can make like 2 day trip in the same national park, maybe, given that I have to between places like 3 hours and 4 hours and wireless go between the place I'm visiting. So because of that, I felt okay. I'm just gonna skip that taking and let's go to Zion first. And then when I was checking Zion, unfortunately Zion's most popular hike, Angel's Landing, requires a permit. I didn't get that because very spontaneous. I'm not doing a lot of thinking ahead. Uh, so I learned that also like the day before you can still apply for the permit. It's a lucky system and maybe you can get selected. So what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna go to Zion tomorrow, given that it's Saturday. And winter it's not gonna be crazy, probably, but it's so good, isn't it? Because it's Saturday weekend time, and I will check out all the things I won't be able to do at Angel's Landing. Then the next day, I will try to see if Page and Slope can you if I can find a tour in that area. Apparently that's more so Page around not in the Navajo Nation. And because that nation owns those areas, that you cannot just do drive there and work yourself. You have to get a guided tour. So I will try to book a guided tour for that after Zion. Hopefully I can make it out. And so from Zion I'm planning to go there, and from there I will try to do the Zion Angels Landing permit as well. If I get it, I'll go back to Zion again with that hike, get done with it, check off the list, and then go to Bryce Canyon. But if I cannot get it, maybe go to Bryce Canyon, try it another day. And if I get it, I get it. We'll try it out. Let's see what happens. But anyways, it's pretty cool. We can do this. I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty hyped up. I have lots of plans. And the first day, I guess yesterday was pretty tired. Not gonna lie, because I drove a lot. I knew that I had to make a lot of way so that today I can enjoy the Valley National Park. That was a stretch. I knew that it was tiring. I made that happen, and today I had a great time at the Valley. And that Valley was my probably like top 10 national parks so far. It had maybe like top 12. I don't know. It's still pretty good. It's definitely worth it. And it has a pretty diverse area. You have the Badwater, the Souls, and the Devil's Golf Course. I've never seen something like that. And then you have like these mountain areas where the angles that from the downside view into Badwater and all rocky areas. And then you also have the Badlands, like Zabriskie Point, and like the golden canyons that I hiked. It's really beautiful, really beautiful. I love it. I think it's really diverse and just a lot of different styles makes it really unique. And being like the hottest place, like world's lowest place in the US, Um, which is pretty cool. I would love to go there again in the summer. Like it's extremely hot. I don't know how my car is gonna be able to handle that because my car is a turbo car. Then Germany is not that hot. I don't know if it's gonna be okay. It's gonna bust because typically you see on the sides. Oh, especially when it's being Badwater Basin because it gets really hot. If we want to turn the AC, but then part over here the AC. So in summer I want to go there eventually at some point, maybe next 3-4 years. Given that I'm planning to be in California hopefully next 3-4 years. Yeah, but we're gonna check it out. But I really like that I have a great day today. Tonight, I want to talk about some life stuff, jumping from one topic to another. Then now that we are here, let's talk about. I know we talked a lot about the past. We always talk about it, but let's talk a little bit about future. What does future look like to me? Near future. So near future. Well, what the fuck? What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? I think that was a dead animal, something. I had never seen that before. I've been driving like so much across all the US. I've never seen that before. Like, I see dead animals, roadkills, and things like that. I had never seen something like that. That like the like dusty things. Yeah, I'm just glad my car is no tire issues. I always got me for right. Coming back to it. Yeah, in future. So I told you guys I broke up with my girlfriend. One of the things was we were talking about where to live. She wanted to, I wanted to live as close as possible. And obviously I thought it was that we could happen, not just that reason, but it could happen. I even in the US, right? Where you want to be. Some background story. I was telling about my high school. After high school, I went to US and I went to college in Michigan. I lived in Michigan 4.5 years. Then I moved to Boston. Then in Boston, I lived there for 3 years. I worked remote for Boston. I was the same company that had the Santa Clara office in the area that I was originally with. It was COVID, post-COVID times. And for 3 years, I was in Boston. I really liked Boston, but it was so fucking goddamn cold, man. It was frigid. I don't like fridges. Michigan was also very cold. Michigan, I loved it. I had a great time. It was one of the best experiences of my life, like going to college there. It's such a beautiful college town. There's so many people there. You can go dating when you want. There's always going to be people for whatever you're looking for. But it was so cold, man. And it snowed a lot. It was a bit depressing, especially in the winter times. Difficult to get to. And when I lived in Boston, I was kind of used to it at that point because I had already lived like 4.5 years in Michigan. And fine, Boston snowed a little bit less than Michigan, actually much less. So I was also fine with it. It was cold, man. And at some point, I also lived in Rhode Island right before I moved to Boston. I lived there for 3 months. This is one of my best friends who introduced to my ex-girlfriend. And he was been my high school friend as well. We went to Brown University in Rhode Island. After I graduated, before I moved to Boston, when I was working, I thought, oh, I'll just move there, cheap rent compared to Boston. And I was waiting for my housemates to move to Boston as well because we also got a job in Boston, my college housemate. And until he moved, I thought, oh, I can just live in Rhode Island. But my friend from my school, that was also an interesting experience. But it was like similar areas, but Rhode Island also gets called this, which is 1 hour south of Boston. And for 4 months-ish, I lived in Philadelphia, right before San Francisco. And that was because my girlfriend was going to school and working in Philadelphia. And before I moved to like San Francisco, I tried to see what Philly is like, and just before that move was gonna happen, that I was gonna move to SF, I wanted to. My rent was ending in Boston, so I thought I'll just go and support my girlfriend and see a different place. Because at that point, after 3 years in Boston, I was also feeling kind of like I like the people here, but I don't know if this is the place I want to live for the rest of my life. It's pretty cold. Let me see different places. Let me see what it feels like. Yeah, Philly. To me, I did like some parts of Philly. Didn't like it, but like I would say that Philly is not a city that I want to live in, because I feel like the interior city areas are not that great. It's like it's, I really want more green natural areas. Boston was very green, very beautiful, and apartments, houses were like very pretty. Philly doesn't have that. Philly has like maybe good restaurants and things. There are some really nice pockets of Philly in the downtown area-ish. I mean, not downtown, but like in the main city of Philly, like main city areas. There's some really nice looking areas, beautiful houses, colonial houses, but overall it just feels like more like concrete, dark and gray. The weather is much better for sure, but still I didn't like that one. Then I came to San Francisco. Oh boy, I thought I would hate San Francisco because like a few of my friends from college friends, like they lived in San Francisco, Bay Area, not just San Francisco, but Bay Area. But their life just seemed like lots of working in tech, and it just seemed like there was this big tech bubble. Everybody is a software engineer, everybody is a techie, and I thought people boom, boom, boom. Still didn't figure this out. Yeah, yeah, I thought people were just like software engineers and we were boring and all that stuff. Not that I'm a software engineer myself. I don't think I'm boring, but and I don't think my friends are boring. But I felt like majority of that Bay Area typical mindset of like work really hard, hardcore. I thought that is probably more boring. Uh, oh, I think I put the camera robot. And I thought the whole city would be, because also in my company, in my previous teams, there were like all of them, lots of like very workaholic people and just software engineers. Not my new team, like in the past 2 years, but previous teams. So I thought everybody's gonna be like that. I'm not gonna enjoy this as much. I was wrong, bro. I love that stuff. It was very beautiful. Not nature, you got it. Work, you got it. Everything is nice. There's arts. There's culture. Hippies back in the day, they used to be there. Music scene is amazing. Back in the day, it was still basic music scene. So I just felt this place is very vibrant. The weather is good most of the time. Yeah, sometimes it gets foggy, sometimes it gets like a little bit chilly when other places are warm, but most of the time when other places are very cold, it doesn't get cold. And I love that. Now I just don't know how I can go back to cold. If I need to, I'll make it effort, but like I would rather not. I feel like the weather is like very convenient in San Francisco, and not just the weather, right? Like for me, especially that I am in tech professionally, it feels like a really nice place to be in. Lots of connections, you can make things happen, easy to change jobs. Like people are providing for you if you're in that industry, things are happening for you. And there's all this other people that make the city, lots of communities, not just soccer. There's lots of history. As I said, lots of cultural things that are happening. It's the best city in like West Coast, like proper legit city. Like LA is not the city. It's like a big region area of cities. Like you don't have like a dense urban environment, whereas like San Francisco is like that. And there's like public transportation, buses and things. Yeah, lots of homelessness. Yeah, it's a problem. There's like security concerns and things, but overall, it just feels great to be in this city, and it reminds me of my place back from home in Turkey, Istanbul as well, because we also have like the Bosphorus Strait that's between the Europe and Asia sides of Istanbul, and we have like beautiful Bosphorus Bridge. And look at San Francisco; it has the Golden Gate version. It has the Bay Bridge. Bay Bridge is the limit. Not as good looking. It's fine. Not like, but Golden Gate is like so pretty, right? And yeah, like just seeing that water from time to time, enjoying it. Just like lots of like green areas as well, similar to Boston. There's always things happening there. I loved it. I loved it so much. And for the next 3 4 years at least, I want to live in San Francisco. I want to make West Coast my place until I get bored. I don't know if I'll get bored or who knows what will happen, but I'm pretty excited to live here for at least like, I don't know, 2 3 4 years. Learn surfing, get better at it, buy my snowboard finally, and then go to Tahoe more often. It's just a 3 hour drive, not too bad. You can make it easily. I've done like day trips to Tahoe this year 2 times. I don't want to do day trips as much, but like once I build like the community, the friend group, and figure out my like schedules ahead for next year, then I can just go as much as I want, and use my board as well, the board that I'm gonna get, and surf like other seasons. I'm pretty excited. Lots of hiking. I can go and do nice things. And it's also little like down to like it feels really nice to be able to relax in different parts of the neighborhood as well. You can even see like the stars in some neighborhoods of San Francisco. That is like not such a like big city-ish in US, but you can still see the stars. I love that. Like full urban environment where you can see the stars. It's so nice. There's so many lovely places, and people are very friendly overall, and they just want to be looking you to them. They care. It's not like a lot of people that I met. Everybody is, you know, they want to like go grab coffee with you. They want to go out with you. We met these kids, really cool people. Like when I met with my Turkish friend, works at Apple, the two in Tahoe recently. Like we met these 3 kids, and then they were just the same day after we were all coming back from our day trip, we just like had a dinner together, and I contacted with some of them, like messaged them. They wanted to hang out if I, because they were in my neighborhood, and Unfortunately I wasn't there that day, but those kind of things, like, it feels really good. I like it. I wanna be here. I thought East Coast, West Coast wasn't like a very big difference, but I was wrong. There's a very big difference between East Coast and West Coast, and I feel like I like West Coast better, man. West Coast in the US, I guess that's where I live. Yeah, maybe it's all body pollution thing, so propaganda fed into my brain. The American dream, the California dream, the Silicon Valley tech bubble, everything they market into my brain. I don't know. I like it. I like it now. I didn't think I would like it, but I like it. And 10 years ago, when I first came to US, I came for a studying summer school program for like 4 weeks or so. And like I stayed in Stanford, frat, like dormitory, frat sorority, kind of like weird situation for the summer program. I had loved it. It's such a beautiful place. Like Stanford campus and all the international kids there. Everybody was so talented, so smart. I don't know. It feels like, yeah, it feels like, like things are happening in San Francisco, at least for my industry. What I mean. Yeah, maybe I want to very much this technique. I like it. I like it. California is really nice. All the lives and the sky. I've been searching for my boy. Let me take me away. Yeah, but so like 3 4 years, hopefully in California and SF, build a community, professionally pull up myself, figure out what's the next stage of my life. Because I think after college, like the first stage of my life was, adjusting to professional life and adjusting to life after college. What it means to be another job. Where I feel like these days now I have like clear sense of what kind of things I want to do, how I want to spend my time. And now I think like the next 3 4 years is gonna be the time where I like to develop myself personally, my hobbies and professionally. And I think after that probably depends on the influences really who I meet and all these things. But I think the next stage of life after that will be settling down. Right now I'm 27, so I'll probably another 4 or 5 years without settling down thing. But yeah, I mean, normally I was gonna make that happen with my current like ex-girlfriend, but didn't work out. Our plan was probably like live together for a few years if everything works out. Like get engaged, and then once we feel eventually ready for kids, marry, which was probably gonna be like 3 4 5 years down the line. Yeah, I think timelines now are gonna be like 4 or 5 years for me to settle down, but that would also be the earliest again, because yeah, lots of things. First, I have to become myself again. I have to find independence, and I mean, I was pretty independent anyways, but find myself what it means to be me and not have a partner. I think that's what I'll do. I'll focus on trying to build that, and figure the rest out. Yeah, thank you for listening in. I wanted to do some recording to get my energy level up. We are coming to Vegas. Vegas is one of the places that I actually don't like. Like Vegas, the whole strip, like where the hotels are, so ugly. Like, yeah, it's like a big fucking shopping mall. I mean, if you're going for a bachelorette party, if you're going with your friends or really, and you have lots of friends going out with you to Vegas, yeah, Vegas is a pretty fun party place. Can do lots of things. Not that I've done many things in Vegas. Only times I've been was with my family almost 10 years ago. I wasn't even eligible to drink back then. I was 17, 18 year old. Um, and the last time I went there, I went with like my two Turkish friends. We had a great time. We like gambled and stuff, but it wasn't like a very big bachelor group because all three of us, like had partners, so we didn't do it crazy. But it's mostly just like, grabbing a few drinks. Like, and I didn't drink back then. I was like so for almost 2 years at coinciding that time frame. But we gambled and spent some quality time as friends. The gambling was still fun. I mean, I won $200. I don't like gambling, but I just did it for like fun, right? Because it's Vegas. What do you do? Like, this is the place to gamble. And I thought, oh, okay, every day I have this number of money as a limit, and then I'll just use this. If I lose it, I lose it. Luckily, I won $200 because on roulette, I bet on zeros, like double both zeros. So that's like 1 out of 18. And then, yeah, it just happened. And then I got money, and I was like, okay, I'm done. I've got enough money. I don't want to play more. Yeah. So this time, because I broke up with my girlfriend, and now I'm single, I was kind of excited to come to Vegas. Maybe do some horny things. Maybe go to a strip club. Maybe even prostitution kind of things if it's legal. Yeah, I believe it's legal. Those things, but yeah, I don't know. That even though I was excited, I know that's kind of like a dark path because it makes me, it's like distraction, not to think about the breakup and like the great things that you lost, but just filler distraction, just good and bad. But yeah, I'm still happy that I'm not going to Vegas and I'm just driving through Vegas to go to Zion. Because I think it would have been interesting to be in Vegas, but I was also already pretty tired, so I didn't want to go through all the nightlife thing. And I woke up at like 6 a.m. and did all the crazy things I did today at the Death Valley National Parks, like hiking, driving, planes, and driving. So yeah, I'm glad Vegas. I'm skipping through. We're going to eventually. We'll come back again. I mean, I live in California. Vegas is always so close by to us, and there's always some big group of people who wants to go to Vegas for some fun things. So, yeah, thanks for listening. I'll get you up. Probably this was the last recording of today. I will go closer to Zion. I'll stay at a motel there. Find some cheap ones today. Hopefully, spending quite a lot. I wanna
reduce as much as possible because it's gonna be annoying.
Lots of gas. Like gas would. Because my car also uses premium gas, which just doesn't make it the best road trip car. It's so fun to drive it, but with premium gas, I have to pay extra. Unfortunately. Alright. Anyways. Bye. Okay, here's Vegas for you. This is we're getting closer to the strip. It's just this is it. This is all of Vegas. Just a bunch of motels, left casinos, interesting things. But maybe those you guys are just for entertainment, just for consumption, not too more. Or yeah, car changing. It's so crazy, like 2 hour away. We were in Death Valley National Park, middle of the desert. What's nothing is there, nothing is happening. And now we're still in the middle of the desert area. And look at this. You have all these casinos, all these like hotels. So interesting. Like I let you with the water fountain shoes. Caesar's Palace. Last I came to Vegas, I stayed here. Caesar's. Once more old school. Casino talks. I would say though, like the Sphere is really nice. I really enjoyed that show at the Sphere. Last time we were here, my friends we went to YouTube concert at Sphere. That was very beautiful experience. I had thought, oh, like Spheres is so overrated when it first opened up, but like we just like I'm not gonna enjoy it as much, but when I went for it, like oh boy, like the visuals and everything was so beautiful, so engaging, and like the show was great. It was a recorded show of YouTube, so apparently YouTube had done the show there, and they recorded it, and then they were making us rewatch it, but still with the Sphere effects, the visuals. They put so much effort into creating those like designers. It was beautiful. The sound system and everything. You should just go get high or trip on acid and just go there and watch the most psychedelic things, or go to the EDM concert there. It is so amazing. It's like a full VR set, but instead of a VR set, you're in the Sphere itself. No, it's just such an interesting and entertainment that you cannot find any place else. And yeah, that Sky Tower, I think it has some it like thrilling ride at the top, but I've never been before. Yeah, I've never been to that part. It's just extreme. Yeah, I had said that I was gonna close it off, but I realized the highway is going through the strip. Almost said, I want to take you guys somebody it looks like if you've never seen Vegas. Bye.